the distant runway lights. Only one gate remained softly illuminated near the end of the terminal. Rows of empty seats faced the dark glass beyond the concourse. Nothing is about to board. The busiest hours have already passed. The quiet hours have arrived. The terminal settles into its slower rhythm. Near the gate desk, computer screens remain dark behind the counter. No boarding pass is being scanned. No announcement interrupts the air. A stack of unused forms rests beside a keyboard. The corners remain straight. Nothing is moved. At the boarding lane, retractable belts remain connected between metal posts. The fabric stays smooth. No traveler passes through. A scanner waits at the end of the lane. Its screen remains dark. No barcode appears. Beyond the windows, runway lights form long lines across the airfield. Blue lights remain steady near the taxiways. White lights remain scattered farther away. No aircraft approaches the gate. No service vehicle arrives. Nothing begins. Nothing ends. The airport gate holds its late-night state, steady and unchanged, while the airfield stretches quietly beyond the glass. Rows of seats remain empty beneath the ceiling lights. Armrests divide each section into neat intervals. No bag rests on the cushions. A charging station stands beside one row. Its ports remain unused. No cable hangs from the sockets. Near the windows, a small table faces the runway. Its surface reflects faint shapes from the terminal lights. Nothing rests upon it. Outside, a distant aircraft crosses high above the airport. Its lights move slowly across the sky. Then they disappear beyond the clouds. Inside, the gate remains still. A wall clock advances quietly above the seating area. No one looks toward it. The time keeps itself. The second hand completes another circle. No announcement follows. The rhythm continues. Farther down the terminal, lights continue into the distance. The corridor remains empty. No rolling suitcase echoes across the floor. A cleaning machine rests beside a service door. Its handle remains folded. Nothing moves. At the gate desk, a printer remains silent beneath the counter. No paper feeds through. No receipt curls into the tray. A drawer remains closed beside it. No latch clicks. Nothing changes. Nothing begins. Nothing ends. The gate remains waiting. The runway remains distant, and the terminal keeps holding its quiet pattern through the night. Outside the windows, reflections drift across the glass. Runway lights remain visible beyond them. The two layers overlap without changing. A service road curves between low airport buildings. Yellow markings remain visible beneath the lamps. No vehicle follows the route. Near the wall, a vending machine keeps one soft light. Rows of bottles remain behind the glass. No selection is made. A card reader waits beneath the display. Its screen remains dark. Nothing beeps. At the corner of the seating area, a brochure stand remains full. Maps remain folded in neat rows. No page is removed. A nearby trash bin remains empty. The lid stays closed. Nothing drops inside. The carpet beneath the seats softens every sound. Footsteps would fade quickly here. Tonight there are none. Outside, a light wind moves across the airfield. It does not reach the terminal. The windows remain still. A distant beacon flashes once near the edge of the runway. Then darkness returns around it. The rhythm remains measured. Far beyond the airport, scattered city lights remain beneath the horizon. They stay distant. They do not approach. Near the emergency exit, a sign glows softly above the door. Letters remain clear. No handle moves. A quiet click comes once from somewhere above the ceiling. Not repeated. Then stillness returns. The lights remain warm. The displays remain unchanged. The gate remains calm. At the far end of the terminal, another gate sits beyond the darkness. Its seating area remains empty beneath dimmer lights. No activity returns there. The jet bridge remains still. The boarding lane remains empty. The runway lights remain scattered beyond the glass. Nothing begins. Nothing ends. The last airport gate continues its patient watch after the final departure, holding the same gentle rhythm through the long hours before the first flight of morning. The seats remain empty. The windows remain bright. The night continues. For now. Beyond the gate area, the terminal continues into a quieter stretch of corridor. The lights remain lower there. No traveler walks beneath them. Glass walls separate the concourse from a row of empty waiting rooms. The doors remain closed. Nothing changes behind them. Near the windows, reflections from the terminal lights rest across the glass. Runway lights remain visible beyond them. The two layers remain together without moving. Far out on the airfield, a beacon flashes once near a service road. Then darkness returns around it. The rhythm remains measured. At the boarding lane, retractable belts continue their straight path toward the scanner. The fabric remains smooth. No hand touches it. The scanner remains dark. No boarding pass appears beneath it. Nothing is checked. A small podium stands near the entrance to the jet bridge. Its surface remains clear. No document rests upon it. A drawer remains closed beneath the top panel. The handle stays centered. No latch clicks. Nothing begins. Nothing ends. The gate keeps its late-night state, steady and unchanged, while the airport settles deeper into the quiet hours. Along the seating area, rows of chairs remain beneath the ceiling lights. The cushions keep their shape. No jacket rests across them. A charging station remains beside the nearest row. Ports remain unused. No cable hangs from the sockets. The polished armrests reflect faint shapes from the terminal lights. Then the reflections settle again. Nothing changes. Near the wall, a digital display continues showing the final departure status. The information remains unchanged. No update appears. The screen glow remains soft against the surrounding darkness. No announcement follows. The terminal remains quiet. Outside the glass, painted markings stretch across the pavement. Yellow lines remain visible beneath distant floodlights. No vehicle follows them. A service building stands beyond the taxiway. Its windows remain dark. Nothing moves nearby. At the gate desk, the computer monitors remain black. No reservation appears. No message arrives. A keyboard rests beneath the screens. The keys remain untouched. No indicator light appears. Farther down the concourse, a moving walkway remains still. Its handrails do not move. No passenger steps onto it. The floor around it remains empty. No rolling suitcase echoes across the terminal. Only quiet remains. A soft click comes once from the climate system, not repeated. Then the same gentle airflow continues. Cool air moves through hidden vents. It stays even. It stays gentle. Nothing begins. Nothing ends. The seating area remains calm. The runway remains distant, and the terminal keeps holding its place in the night. Near the windows, a small table faces the airfield. Its surface reflects the runway lights beyond the glass. Nothing rests upon it. A chair remains pushed neatly beneath the table. Its legs stay aligned. Nothing shifts. At the emergency exit, the illuminated sign remains bright above the door. Letters remain clear. No handle moves. A narrow strip of light rests beneath the frame. It does not widen. It does not fade. Outside, another aircraft crosses high above the airport. Its lights move slowly through the sky, then disappear beyond the clouds. The gate does not respond. The runway lights remain steady. The terminal remains still. At the far end of the corridor, another gate remains dark beneath dimmer lights. Rows of seats remain empty there as well. No activity returns. A closed service door stands nearby. The handle remains centered. Nothing opens. Near a vending machine, rows of bottles remain behind the glass. No selection is made. No card is tapped. The display remains illuminated. The shelves remain full. Nothing changes. A wall clock advances quietly above the concourse. No one looks toward it. The time keeps itself. The second hand continues its slow circles. No announcement interrupts the rhythm. The night continues. Outside the windows, reflections stretch across the glass once more, then settle. The runway lights remain scattered across the darkness. The terminal remains warm. The seats remain empty. The jet bridge remains still. The final gate continues waiting. For now, nothing begins. Nothing ends. The airport remains between the last departure and the first arrival, holding the same quiet rhythm through the deepest hours before dawn. Beyond the gate area, a narrow corridor leads toward the airport offices. The lights remain lower there. No door opens along the hallway. Small windows look into empty workrooms. Desks remain beneath soft ceiling lights. No chair moves. At the operations office, computer monitors remain dark. A keyboard rests beside a telephone. No call arrives. A whiteboard hangs on the far wall. Flight numbers remain written from earlier hours. Nothing is erased. Near the staff entrance, a security badge reader remains beside the frame. Its indicator stays steady. No card is scanned. A visitor log rests on a nearby shelf. The pages remain flat. No new name appears. Nothing begins. Nothing ends. The quiet extends beyond the gate, steady and unchanged, through another corner of the sleeping terminal. At the crew briefing room, chairs remain arranged around a table. Their backs form neat lines beneath the lights. No meeting continues tonight. A projector hangs from the ceiling. The lens remains dark. No image appears. Near the wall, weather charts remain pinned to a notice board. The pages stay still behind clear covers. Nothing is adjusted. A clock above the board advances quietly. No one looks toward it. The time keeps itself. Farther down the hallway, a glass door leads to an observation area. The room beyond remains empty. No visitor stands beside the windows. A row of stools faces the airfield. The seats remain unused. Nothing shifts. Outside, runway lights continue their distant pattern. Blue lights remain steady near the taxiways. White lights remain scattered farther away. No aircraft approaches. No service vehicle arrives. At the observation windows, reflections from the terminal lights drift across the glass, then settle again. Nothing changes. A weather beacon flashes once near the far edge of the field. Then darkness returns around it. A soft click comes once from the climate system, not repeated. Then the same gentle airflow continues. The air remains cool. The hallway remains quiet. The night remains settled. Nothing begins. Nothing ends. The offices remain calm. The observation room remains empty. And the airport keeps holding its place between flights. Near a supply room, shelves hold sealed boxes of forms and envelopes. Labels remain readable. Nothing is opened. A hand truck rests beside the wall. Its wheels remain still. Nothing rolls. At the end of the corridor, a narrow staircase leads upward. The steps remain empty. No echo rises from above. A handrail follows the wall beside the stairs. Its surface reflects a faint line of light. No hand touches it. Outside the observation windows, the runway remains distant beneath the darkness. The lights remain steady. The rhythm remains unchanged. Inside, the chairs remain empty. The desks remain still. The doors remain closed. A settling sound comes once from somewhere above the ceiling, not repeated. Then stillness returns. The airflow remains even. The lights remain warm. The airport remains calm. No boarding begins. No arrival appears. The terminal continues waiting. Near the end of the concourse, the carpet changes to a darker pattern beneath the lights. The colors remain muted. The design follows the corridor toward another quiet gate. No one walks there tonight. A row of tall windows looks across the sleeping airfield. Runway lights remain scattered in the distance. The reflections of the terminal lights rest softly on the glass. Nothing changes. At the neighboring gate, the boarding desk remains dark. Computer monitors stay black behind the counter. No boarding group is called. No passport is checked. A printer rests beneath the desk. No paper feeds through. No receipt curls into the tray. The silence remains complete. Nothing begins. Nothing ends. The quiet extends beyond the final gate, steady and unchanged, through another corner of the sleeping terminal. Outside, a service road curves between low airport buildings. Yellow markings remain visible beneath distant lamps. No vehicle follows the route. The pavement remains empty. Near the windows, a cleaning cart remains parked beside a wall. Its handle stays folded. Its wheels remain still. Nothing is moved. A nearby vending machine keeps one soft light. Rows of bottles remain behind the glass. No selection is made. No card is tapped. Far beyond the taxiways, a red beacon flashes once against the darkness. Then the night closes around it again. The rhythm remains measured. The airport remains calm. Inside, the terminal continues holding its quiet shape. The gates remain empty. The seating areas remain still. The corridors remain silent. A soft click comes once from the climate system, not repeated. Then the same gentle airflow continues through the ceiling vents. The sound remains low. The rhythm remains even. Near the glass, reflections drift slowly across the windows, then settle again. The runway remains beyond them. The darkness remains beyond that. At the far end of the terminal, an emergency exit sign glows above a closed door. Letters remain bright. No handle moves. No hinge shifts.